to all my friends out there. Hello. I hope everyone is doing okay. Okay, this video is how to stockpile meat for 1 month, 6 cans. So you might be thinking that is not enough. Yes, that is enough. I will show you. So once you get this in your mind, you're not going to go, oh my gosh, we're going to starve. No, we're going to prepare. Okay, number one thing, 1 can of roast beef, Walmart. That is 3.5 servings. I didn't prepare the costs. Okay, I want to make some mashed potatoes. So I want to show you guys how I store food and then how I cook it up. So I need 1 cup. This is whey. I made butter, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So I need 1 cup. This could be milk. It's supposed to be 2/3 cup water and 1/3 cup milk, but I have this whey, and so this is the second thing I used it in. I also drink it. So roast beef, 3.5 servings. Okay. 1 cooked ham, 8 servings. Okay, that's only like a slice, 8 slices, but it's still, you can make stir fries and things out of that. Corned beef this is one of the best buys out there. 6 servings, and you can make a hash with potatoes, or you can put carrots and cabbage. That's good. Okay, 1 Walmart can of it's like Spam, the Walmart brand. So that is 6 servings. So these two are 6 servings, and the ham is 8 servings, and the roast beef is 3.5. Then I have 1 can pink salmon. They used to give you this at the food banks. I don't know if they still do. 5 servings. And 1 large can of tuna. 3 servings, so that is 31 servings. Let me give you a shot of the list in case you guys want to write it. That's for 1 person. But this is doable. So I'm just going to move this back here so as to keep it in the video. So, okay. So now for the rest of this month, I'm not buying anything but meat. So what I got at the food bank was, or the food church, was this this box of pancake mix. So I thought, wow, you know, one of the most important things to stockpile is bread. I wonder if I can make some fry bread with that pancake mix. Well, the dough looks good. So, but what happened was I started with the liquid. In fry bread, you usually use water, but I use whey. So I have a soft dough, and so I want to put a little more pancake mix on it, and I'm heating hot. What is in my whey? As long as it's not living. Okay. So what happened is I started out with, okay, when you make fry bread, it is 1 cup flour, 1 cup water, and you can add a 1/4 cup powdered milk, but you don't have to. And so it's 1 and 1. So I use this 1 cup. I started with 1 cup of whey from my, this is good. You can use milk or buttermilk or water. So, And then I just added everything else. It's 1 cup flour, 1 cup water. You can add powdered milk, 1/4 cup if you want. 1/2 teaspoon salt and 1 1/2 teaspoons baking powder. But when I went to make this, it took closer to 3 cups of pancake mix. So I would start out, if you just want a little batch, but I discovered something really good accidentally, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. So I just want to make a tasty soft dough, and I want to fry it in this hot oil. A lot of times a person could need some bread. The dough is really nice though. Look at the dough. I'll show you a close-up. See the dough? Okay, so what I did is I just kept adding the flour little by little by little till I got a soft dough. So let me make some little fry breads. So the thing about fry bread that is really nice, and these fry breads out of buttermilk pancake mix would probably be a lot more nutritious than flour, but I don't know how they're gonna fry up. We're gonna find that out in 1 minute. So if you have fry bread and tea, you can get by. I'll make these little so the oil's hot enough this time. That's good. So fry bread out of pancake mix. And then these stay good for quite a few days in the refrigerator. And I usually fry them. And then when I come home from the gym, I eat a couple. I drink some tea and I eat a couple fry breads. Just make sure you fry them to get them good and brown, because you know they're kind of like a biscuit. Okay, so that ended up. So I started out with, well, your whey is really, really nutritious too. So that might have had something to do. Okay, so I have 1 cup whey. And so what I want to do is start eating this stockpile food down. So let's see, I need 2/3 cups potato, 1/3 cup water, some salt, 2/3 cups water, 1/3 cup milk, but I have a cup of whey, a tablespoon of butter. So late last night, I was making this butter or sour cream that I like to make. Uh-oh. Oh, they look good. So I need to put some of that in my potatoes. So look how good this homemade sour cream butter turned out. And I use it just like butter. And it needs a little salt, and then 2/3 cup pancake flakes. Oh, these are looking good. So then it's breakfast time, and you have some eggs from the food pantry. Here is the Navajo fry bread recipe. And this is for a whole batch, but I usually make a half a batch. So with the pancake mix, I ended up with all this dough. So I ate 6 little muffins. And I used my homemade butter, and they kind of stuck, but that is fine because they taste really good. Now, what did I do with my darned paper towels? Okay, so I had this dough, so I added cheese and jalapenos to half of it. That is these. And I flipped them and then they stuck. That is blueberry. I already ate one. What I like about these, so I had this fry bread and I just put it in a muffin tin and I baked it with my pork tenderloin that I made that I'm going to show you in a minute. Oh, these look good. Once you get used to making these, they're so easy to make. All right, I will add my potatoes. And if they get a little, oh my goodness, fire. Oh, wow. This is not good, you guys. All right, you didn't see that. Now I'm going to burn my fry breads. Somehow. I better get these out. This is hard to do, two things at once. These are really hot. Yummy. My oil's getting a little too hot now. One left. Oh, oh. Okay, so now I need a little more whey in my potatoes back here. So this is good. I use my whey up because I don't like to waste my whey because your whey is like buttermilk. It's not as thick and creamy as the buttermilk you make, but it's still good. All right. Well, I'm glad I didn't burn myself. So I'm going to be eating a lot of potatoes until I get all my potatoes eaten. All right. So here's the potatoes. This is enough for 2 meals. Oh, goodness. All right. So, you know, when you go out, do you honestly think that is fresh potatoes? Because it isn't. It's probably instant. But if you put butter, if you put whey in it, that is really good. All right. And then if you have this homemade butter as well. Oh, that one's turning out really good. They're like pancakes. As you go on, they turn out better and better. So, okay, so if you have a pancake mix, it's like when you have food that you need to use up. So this butter is really good because you can use it like sour cream or butter. All right, let me give you the recipe. All right, I made a whole batch because I'm using up my powdered milk. I have the big bag, the $20 bag, and it's ready to expire at the end of the month. But when you start making stuff that requires like butter, like yogurt, it goes fast. Okay, let's see if everything's showing since I had my fire. Okay, it looks okay. So 4 1/4 cup milk, and I use powdered milk. So you might think this non-fat milk is not going to work good. It does work good. It kind of lets you know why food is getting so darned expensive. If this took 4 1 cups milk, what happens when you're using half and half or cream. It gets more expensive, that's what. Okay, okay. Oh gosh. That is really bad for my pilot light. All right. Now, and so you cook that milk until it boils, and you add 2 tablespoons of vinegar, and I had apple cider vinegar. And then you let and I had salt in there, about a teaspoon. Then when your milk curdles, drain it, and that's how the whey happened. I had almost a full one of these. It's really good, warm. Okay. Then you put the strained curds in the blender, and you add 2 spoons sour cream. So I had sour cream. I'm getting ready to freeze the sour cream because I need sour cream at all times for this butter. This much goes a long ways, Walmart. So I just put like 2 heaping teaspoons. All right. And so I had butter balls, so since I was making butter this time, I used 4 butter balls, or about a half a cup. Where are my these things? At one time I bought a bunch of these, but it can be margarine if you don't have butter. In an emergency, I don't see why it couldn't be anything. It could be lard, it could be coconut oil. And then you mix it in the blender, and then you just keep it in the refrigerator. Here it is. I try to include let's see if I can possibly find my chives. Oh great, here's my chives. We'll have a few chives. So this kind of cooking is cheap. So if you have stockpile, if you don't have money for big bags, just get the Dollar Tree bags. Okay, so we have some tasty, what is on here? We have some tasty fry breads, and we have some tasty muffins. So I got this pancake mix at the food bank. If you don't have enough food in your house, go to the food bank. And then today, oh, this is good too. This is a pork tenderloin that I bought at Walmart. And I put the rest in a bag in here somewhere. Here it is. No, that isn't it. I don't know if I put it in the freezer or where, but it was a pretty small tenderloin. And this is about 1/3 of it. So this is really good. It was enough for 3 portions. So it ended up to be about $2 for each portion. And if you watch them and you keep an eye on them, they make really delicious sandwiches as well. And then I just cut off a little piece. When I was working in the Asian shops, they served their pork tenderloin in cubes. So, yummy. Okay, and then I like Tabasco. And then the other day I had this 3-bean salad. So this is a stockpile meal. So if you have any kind of stockpile, then you can eat that down and concentrate on buying meat this month. If you go to a food pantry or a food bank, they don't give you great quantities of meat. What they're doing is they're giving dairy, which is fine. Cheese, peanut butter. But if you're a meat eater, then, you know, you're going to get, what happened to me is I started getting very hungry after a couple days. Well, it was a while. It was 3 weeks before I started getting really hungry. Okay, so now I have this. So I'll just freeze the rest of this. I started buying these tenderloins when I did the HelloFresh. So that's the homemade butter out of powdered milk. I want to give you my bread recipe because if you have bread and butter, you can survive. Oh, I forgot to eat one of my fry breads. So if you make your muffins out of fry bread, a lot of the muffins taste like cupcakes. That is not really what I was looking for. This is so tender. Last night, while the rest of the world was sleeping, I made yogurt. Here it is, out of non-fat milk. That is so good. All right, let me do the, when you're making your food cheap like this, if you want to eat a lot of yogurt one day, you know, you can eat a lot. Okay, for the bread, and this is a nice sized bread loaf, not too big, not too little. 1 1/4 cup water, but if you had whey, that'd be awesome. 2 tablespoons butter, and 2 tablespoons sugar, 3/4 teaspoon salt, 1 package yeast, or 1.5 teaspoons, and then 1 tablespoon flour, and 3 1/4 cup flour. So what I do is I mix about 1/2 cup of water and 2 tablespoons sugar together, and I warm that, and then I cool that down. Then to warm, and I add the yeast, and I cover it, and I let that activate good. Then I mix all the dry ingredients, which are, by this time, it is the flour and the salt, and then it calls for 2 tablespoons butter. So if you have your homemade butter, that is perfect for bread making. So mix all the dry ingredients, and then mix the butter, not too hot, melted, with the yeast, and then another, so you have your 1/2 cup water and sugar, and then you have water 3/4 cup. So here is that recipe. You need to be able to make a good white bread. It took me quite a while to find this recipe. So hopefully we have a big, now in my family, we're not big on beans and rice. So you might be thinking, well, it's for an emergency. That's fine, but what if the emergency lasts a long time? So I located cheap yogurt for like $2.99. It doesn't expire until, I could have made twice as much, but I thought, well, this was 5 cups milk. I thought, just eat this and then make another one. So I had 5 cups milk, and then I had this yogurt cup, and since I had a lot of yogurt, I just made a heaping container of yogurt, and you take the yogurt out and you let that warm up to room temperature. You take a big saucepan and you heat the water to boiling. At the same time though, you start heating your milk, and you want to heat your milk to about 180 degrees, or if you don't have a thermometer, to the point where it's almost ready to boil but not quite. And you hold it there, if you want a nice firm yogurt, for about 30 seconds. And this is really good if you want to make a cucumber salad, you know, all kinds of things. So then when your pan is hot, you cover it with foil, you know, the water's boiling, and put it into the corner of the oven to warm the oven. You don't turn the oven off. Your boiling water is going to create a warm oven. Then you keep your milk at 180 degrees for about 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how firm you want it. And then what I do is I put it in a big bowl and I cool it down to about 100, 110 degrees until I can, you know, it's warm. You know, if it's too hot to put your finger in, it's too hot. Like a warm bath. Then you add your yogurt to your milk and you stir that around, and you can pour it in a jar, or you could leave it in the bowl. And then you just put the yogurt in the very corner, and you have your hot water in front of it, and then I cover it with a dish towel and I leave it until morning. But right before I go to bed, I take the water out, I reheat it to boiling, and then I cover it and put it back in. So here is the recipe for that. So you're always going to have bread. You're always going to have butter. You're always going to have peanut butter, because you're going to buy big bags of peanuts. You're going to make your own peanut butter. It's easy to make. $6.99. I buy, what I've been doing is buying big bags of food at Smart and Final. But I think it's more important to stockpile meat now. All right, now, so now you have the yogurt. Now you have the butter. Now you're going to have the salmon balls. I always made patties. Here's the pink salmon. Drain and debone. Salmon, onion, 1 egg, breadcrumbs to create a firm mass of meat. Salt, pepper, garlic, and 2 tablespoons of mayo, or this homemade sour cream. You can use that just like sour cream. And then fry in oil, but I usually bake them. And you can make mashed potatoes or rice or whatever you have. All right, now you have you have the bread. Okay, so those are important. And you have the stockpile of meat. Okay, so now you stockpile big bags of peanuts. Let me give you this this part. Okay, so what are we preparing for? Why prepare at all? It's a big waste of money. Okay, they have been predicting massive earthquakes. So remember when they were kind of insinuating that the COVID was going to be a pandemic? So one of the bad things about these earthquakes, if those hit, is they could cause blackouts. No power. That means no water. So we want to make sure we have water. And these earthquakes, if they were bad enough, and the blackouts could ultimately cause starvation. So that is not the only thing we're preparing. We're not staying up nights worrying sick, but in the back of our minds, the possibility for landslides. So as I go down each of these, okay, now I moved so that I am relatively safe from earthquakes, because the mountain areas are less prone to them. And then everyone's prone to the blackouts. So just mainly make sure you have food and water. Landslides. Okay, I don't see a landslide here. the way my house sits, but I mean, it can always happen because these hills are solid granite. They're not, you know, we don't get snow, even the rain. I don't think that would happen. Also, I have the big drain, so I'm lucky that way. Volcanoes. My sister-in-law and brother-in-law were in one, and what makes them so treacherous is the smoke. So, you know, they're mentioning maybe these places like Yellowstone. You might want to have a gas mask if you live in one of those places. Even here, right up the street, I had to go get my niece one time. Floods. Those can happen if we have a dam breach. Hurricanes. We had a hurricane. I was out, remember, in my backyard clearing the drains, and everybody was so nonchalant, and I was out there. It was like a labor, and so none of us flooded. Tornadoes, those are bad. Blizzards, we had one between here and Las Vegas a few years ago because my son got caught in it. Tsunamis, those are not good because those can really wreak havoc. Cyclones, wildfires, back again to the smoke, and more pandemics. So we want to, another thing is if you make sure you have tea, so you'll have something besides water. But for your heavy duty stockpiled food, I would go for milk, stuff to make butter, and rice, potatoes, and peanuts, just to name a few. So if you don't have money for big bags, so you want to make bread, go for a box of pancake mix, and the muffins are really good. Just make the fry bread, and then the fry bread is better if you let it set for 20 minutes before you fry it or bake it. And the muffins are really good. I'm so glad I figured this out because I have quite a bit of pancake mix, and I don't eat pancakes that much, but I do eat bread a lot. And so what's good about fried bread is you don't need butter. Okay, you guys, I will see you tomorrow. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And God bless you all.